Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
Residents in the Roosevelt neighborhood of Fargo remain upset over plans for demolishing homes and building multifamily housing units.
Roars Construction has bought over 20 properties between 16th and 18th Streets North with plans to redevelop the area. That's on top of their proposal for a 6-story complex for students planned by the Newman Center at NDSU.
Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter Bailey Hurley talked with residents in that area who say they want their neighborhood left alone.
Although there's a few eyesores like this house in the Roosevelt neighborhood, it's not all bad.
Well, it's a nice neighborhood because it's, all the trees and everything. It's a beautiful neighborhood. A lot of college kids, but I'm used to them.
But as time's gone on, more and more apartments have been taking place of older homes in the area.
If you look around, you just see them everywhere. But it would be nice if they just leave this alone.
And more complexes could be on the way if a plan by Roars Construction is passed to tear down abandoned homes like this one, but also ones like this, a house that's a tradition to live in for members of the Saddle and Sirloin Club at NDSU.
We really appreciate this house because, our rent is very cheap. We don't have to pay for parking. We all walk to class. It's close to campus, and it's, it really is going to be unfortunate for those students that are having to pay more to live in an apartment.
It'll be kind of sad to see it get torn down and have apartments get put up. I think there's definitely a lot of fun to be had in college houses.
Residents say they don't see anything wrong with their homes and don't understand why it's on the list to be demolished.
You could fix a few things and make it a little bit more energy efficient, but overall it's still a really good house.
Most people telling me it's all just a bad idea.
There's an abundance of apartments and townhouses already in Fargo, and half these brand new townhouses they're built and they're sitting half empty.
I would like that if we didn't have more apartments, but I'm just going with the flow.
In Fargo, Bailey Hurley, Valley News Live.
The plan will be voted on by Fargo City Commissioners on Monday night's meeting with the expectations that it will be passed.
Today's weather seemed to be confused. The cloudy gray sky looked like there could be rain, but it felt nice outside, almost like the sun wanted to poke through. That's why Hutch is here to help sort through any confusion tonight. Hutch?
Yeah, highly variable weather across the region. In northern Minnesota, we have some sunshine still taking place and a lot of clouds and a few sprinkles starting to show up out to the west. It's all a result of a storm system developing out in the northern Rockies. It's bringing rain to western South Dakota and snow to northeast Montana. And this is heading in our general direction. Here's a look at what you can plan for this evening in Fargo. Temperatures primarily in the upper 30s with a east-southeast wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. However, all of that activity out to the west is heading our way. And by morning, our southern and western counties could see rain changing over to and mixing with some snowflakes by daybreak, primarily to the west of the Red River. I'll have details on where this is all heading the rest of our Saturday, and we'll look at Sunday's forecast as well in just a few minutes.
Okay, thanks, Hutch.
A student at an elementary school in Fergus Falls is recovering after being hit by a vehicle today. It happened during the noon hour outside Cleveland Elementary. Police say the student stepped off the sidewalk, was hit by the vehicle. Investigators say that the child was taken to the hospital with minor injuries and was expected to be okay. We're going to have more on this story tonight on Valley News Live at 10.
A Fargo woman has been charged with child neglect after police say she left her baby alone in a hot SUV while she shopped at Walmart. Court documents say that Clara Nisco left her child in the car for about 20 minutes in 84-degree weather back in September while she shopped at the 13th Avenue Walmart. Police say passersby were able to get the baby out of the car while they waited for police to get there.
3 people were arrested after police say they crashed their car into another car and took off in Hubbard County. Investigators say 27-year-old Elizabeth Danielson of Deer River, Minnesota, was driving the car before the crash. She's been charged with criminal vehicular operation and leaving the scene of an accident. Her passengers, 35-year-old Shiloh Williams and 28-year-old Jamie Chase, were arrested on active warrants. There's no word on the conditions of the people in the other vehicle.
It's time to take a look at this week's Valley's Most Wanted. Police say 32-year-old Kaylee Foley is wanted for failure of a 24/7 program after a charge of possession of a controlled substance and for reckless driving. You can call your local law enforcement if you have any information on Foley.
We are in the final hour of early voting for the midterm elections.
Valley News Team's Rose Itzkovitz joins us live from the Fargo Dome with more on the impressive turnout. Rose?
Yeah, Mike and Andrea, I've been here for about the past hour. I keep peeking in that back room. I'm inside the Fargo Dome, by the way, just checking in these last minute, but still early voters. And that room has been pretty consistently full for the past hour every time I look inside it. I also spoke with the Secretary of State, who says that there's about 117,000 voters in North Dakota who have already voted. That includes the absentee ballots. And now we also spoke with the Cass County auditor, who tells me that the votes here in Cass County have also surpassed typical midterm election votes, making it more like a presidential election. Take a look.
We've had a great turnout. We're definitely more in the numbers of a presidential election than we are typically a midterm election.
Cass County Election Coordinator Deanne Buckhouse says voters around here have far surpassed the typical midterm election numbers.
It is very indicative of the political climate that we're in right now.
As of 3 p.m. Friday, Cass County has more than 21,000 votes, not counting the 8,000 plus absentee ballots.
Our Senate race is definitely driving a huge interest because there's definitely some that feel very strongly both ways.
Which I saw at the polling places earlier Friday.
I'm really in support of Kramer. He really shows what North Dakota is all about. I'm really not sure about Heidi, where she supports a lot of abortion and some other things that just really didn't agree with.
Meanwhile, longtime Republican Paul Myrick crossing party lines following the Kavanaugh hearing.
Heidi wasn't just representing North Dakota. She does a very good job of that. But she also represents the United States. She showed integrity, thought, and caring. Republicans didn't.
But while many I spoke with tell me more is on the line this year, most say they do always get out and vote either way.
I try and come out every election. Elections are always important, and this one is very important. I'm just here to do my public service and my civic duty.
Are there any particular issues that you felt were really important for you to come out for this time around?
No, not especially.
Same as always?
Yep.
And I'm also told those measures on the ballot are also a big draw for people to come in and vote, particularly Measure 3, which would legalize marijuana here in North Dakota. Again, you have until about 7 p.m. to cast those early votes. Otherwise, you got to wait until Election Day on Tuesday. Mike and Andrea.
All right. Thank you, Rose. We will have much more on this tonight on Valley News Live at 9 and 10.
North Dakota's Secretary of State said today that all Native Americans who want to vote will be able to on Tuesday's election. Al Jagger was joined by Indian Affairs Commission Executive Director Scott Davis for today's announcement. Voter IDs are being given out for free to Native American residents. Davis says he's confident that everyone will be able to vote.
There's a lot of resources, county-wise, statewide, tribal-wise, even the nonprofits. Everybody's coming to help in getting those tribal citizens their ID, the correct information needed to vote come Tuesday.
Al Jagger added if there are issues at the polls, set-aside ballots can be used. That means they can mark the ballot, and they will have 7 days to go back to county officials to present the correct identification.
Later on Valley News Live at 6, new information in the case of a state's attorney candidate who received a package of feces in the mail.
Up next, why the officers in a Minnesota police department decided to shave their heads.